3, 2, 1, and we should be live right now. Hello guys, welcome to the channel, and this is the Cine-Gang. I think we can come up with better name, guys. Come on. But Cine-Gang is back after a long time talking about films. I'm joined by Jimmy Cage, Kishor from Moving Images, and Rajnikanth. Welcome, guys.
Where's Vishal, by the way?
No, he didn't respond. I guess he's busy.
Ouch.
Not putting saying anything wrong, but just saying maybe he's busy.
He might be pissed off from the last time we did this. You did this whole intro, and then we found out that it wasn't streaming, and we had to do it again.
Yeah, I think I got him post that also once. So I think we are fine. We are fine. But guys in the chat, let us know first. Can you hear them? Can you hear me? All good? Please let me know, and then we'll just get into the discussion. We are already late. I'll take all responsibility for that.
Yeah, you sent the meeting link at 1 minute.
Yeah.
That's because I asked you.
Yeah, I asked him too. Otherwise, nothing.
You guys are not helping.
I hope all this is streaming. I was just waiting for it to go live.
No. I just want a confirmation in the chat, guys, and we'll start.
I think it's live. I don't know if they can hear us, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to repeat the mistake. Otherwise, Kishor is not gonna come next time.
Oh, no, I'm fine.
Okay, all good. Darshan, thank you, Darshan. Yeah. All good. Let's go.
Awesome.
So first of all, how are you guys? It's been a long time we did this. Just quick thoughts. How's life? How's everything? How's movies?
Always busy, I guess.
Yeah.
But overall, pretty good.
Yeah, but how did you get vitamin deficiency in Goa? Vitamin D deficiency in Goa?
Yeah.
Sorry, should we not reveal it?
Okay. Okay.
Wait,
see, it's been raining for a month. Yeah. No sun for 1 month. Okay, not my mistake. And my lifestyle is kind of I don't get to go out in. Anyways, moving on to Jailer. We had a lot of sun in that.
True.
But guys, yes, instead of going quick overview, first let's go. What was your favorite thing about Jailer? It can be what was in the movie, or maybe the experience of it, or the discussion about it, whatever. One by one. Kishor.
Oh, I'm going first. Okay. I guess I don't know. I'm still having some mixed feeling. I did enjoy the experience while I was in the theater, but it's one of those movies. Once you come out of the theater and you think about it, and you're like, that was nothing.
Yes.
But yeah, in the theater with the fans on first day, first show, yeah, the whole celebration thing, that was fine. And I'd still have to say, yeah, this is a huge improvement from his previous 3-4 films.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so I'm happy about that. But there was also a lot of potential that went untapped, which I'm guessing we'll get into. But yeah, overall experience was mixed, yet it was fun.
Okay. Yeah, not fun if there are no subtitles in the second half. Anyways, Ronak.
You didn't have subtitles in the second half?
Yeah, that was his whole Twitter meltdown.
You're the only one on the earth
that was
who didn't.
Also, that
Nona was posting this everywhere.
Oh, okay. So why you got abused for it? Why do you need subtitles and all of that, or
no? There are a few comments why don't you watch in Hindi? And then there were some conspiracy theories that the Hindi industry does this so they can make remake. So there were these conspiracy theories, but nothing against me particularly.
Okay, then it's okay. Yeah, then fine. So yeah, I liked it. I don't know if I didn't like anything, but Kishor is right. In the sense, after you come out of the theater, I actually can't remember many of the scenes, what exactly happened. But I'll tell you what I mainly liked was that Rajni is we've been watching him since, I don't know, since I was born, I've been watching him. So he's obviously aged at least 32 years since I saw him first, right? 32, 33 years, whatever it is. And many a times he would be, because fans like it or whatever, he's been made to be cast much younger, like in the sense
Yeah.
portrayed as much younger than he is, alongside a heroine who is might be like his whatever granddaughter's age or whatever it is. They managed it in the last, maybe in a few movies it was okay. I think in Peta, I think there is still a very very big age difference between whoever the female lead is, but still in this movie I saw that they didn't really care about trying to make him younger, but he looked a little less than his actual age, but he still looked fresh, right? In
Yeah.
many of the movies, they try to put a lot of makeup and then he ends up looking a little bit tired and stuff. In this, he looked pretty fresh for his age, whatever it is. And then the main thing is he didn't have to do all the action, like most of the action, like he didn't have to do this and then 1,000 people flying and stuff.
Yeah.
Like he's sitting down at a table, he's already made like a plan and shit. And there are, spoilers, of course, if you're talking about Jailer, if you've not seen it. But yeah, other people do the action and the shooting for him, right? So I think that's what I liked. And it's okay that there's someone who said, this is just a movie with 28 Rajnikanth intro scenes, right? And I'm completely fine with that, because there's another tweet also who said that, see, I'm paying 200 rupees to watch a Rajnikanth film, and it's completely okay if it just gives me, intro upon intro, and as long as it is done well and doesn't take your intelligence completely for granted, like doesn't make you look like a fool, which people have taken advantage of Rajni's image before, saying that Rajni is there, we can do whatever we want, we don't have to care about anything else and stuff, right? In this, I felt, even though there were a lot of slow motion shots and all of that, I think there was a fair balance which was missing in few of his previous films. Yeah.
Okay. Akhil is saying the action scenes are pretty grounded. We'll come to that. Also, guys, before Jimmy speaks, hit that like button so more people join us and have and participate in the chat. Let us know your thoughts and any questions you have. Yes, Jimmy.
Yeah, I
It's
only
also
speak
first,
if everyone hits the like button.
Theater movie, like watching a Tamil film in theater. Or
No. I've
Rajnikanth film in
seen
theater?
quite a. Not even that. I've watched Peta in the theater with Dennis. What was that? 3 years ago, 4 years ago? I'm not sure. But I don't remember much from that theater visit. I think it wasn't as packed as this one. And for me, the best thing about the movie was my experience at the theater, because in Vienna, there's only one cinema that plays Indian movies. But usually there's not much going on in those screenings, like 20, 30 people maybe. There are a few exceptions. For example, Bahubali 2 was pretty packed, and Pathan was, of course, very packed. But this time, cinema was like half full, but it was enough to create a really awesome atmosphere. So everyone was cheering, and not just when Rajnikanth showed up, but all the cameos as well. Even though I think Tiger Shroff, I think no one clapped. Maybe because he's from the north, I'm not sure. But
Jackie Shroff. Tiger Shroff is his son.
Sorry.
Shroff comes anyways, no one's going to clap.
Okay. But with Jackie Shroff, there wasn't really a big celebration with him. But with all the other guys, it was, total, really cool atmosphere. And I liked the movie overall. I totally agree that even when I watched the movie, I thought this will be a movie that in like 2 or 3 weeks, probably already forget about it. I will remember the atmosphere, the experience, but the movie itself, or the story. I mean, the story is paper thin. There isn't really much to the story or the characters. It's more about these actors and not really the characters. But the experience was what I liked most.
I don't know how. Daniel Ruben, did you guys watch Jailer? I don't know how to answer that.
Maybe he's talking about the Malayalam one.
Yeah. The one that released on the same day.
Yeah.
It was supposed to release
Really?
or something. I think they stayed it,
Is a Malayalam version?
No,
You mean the dub or?
there's a wholly unrelated
There was
movie.
another movie.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
I thought you were the Malayalam expert, Nona.
Oh no, never go there.
No. Okay.
Why does this stream becoming a roast of Nona? Okay, someone else also says
Not even
action are
getting
grounded.
started yet. Wait.
Okay, I think pretty much everything you guys said, I had the same thing except subtitles. But anyways, I think the thing about when you come out of the theater,
Actually, were there a lot of dialogues in the second half?
I think
there weren't too many.
it was mostly all the the whole part. The subtitles stopped just before the Tamanna song comes in. Maybe
Okay.
before that also.
Yeah.
So after that, all this the joke between when they were in the alley in the hotel and all of
Yeah.
that jokes and that they were cracking
The
with
corridor.
the actor. Yeah, the
With-
corridor scene and like all those like no, and even at the ending twist when the twist happens, there's no like I think when Rajnikanth reaches there, right, his place, Vinayakan's place, that time for 30 seconds subtitles came back.
But that's so weird. I don't understand how technically that's even possible that you get subtitles for some
I
parts
have
and
no
not for the
clue.
others, because it should be the same DCP everywhere, I guess. But
I have no idea. Even like the shows before me at the same thing, and when I asked them, said, "Yeah, sir, subtitles are not the second half." I'm like,
Okay.
what
So
is
no
this?
one complained. No one else in the theater
No.
complained or said anything.
So I know a film critic from Goa, and I messaged him, "Sir, did you watch the movie?" Just to let him know that there are subtitles, and he's like, "Yeah, I saw it." I'm like, "There were subtitles?" And no, like, so chill. They're so chill. I think you're used to it now. But I
Was it
think you
PVR?
pretty much gets the story. It's very simple.
Was it PVR?
There are only 4 Inox theaters in whole Goa.
Inox PVR are the same now, right?
Yeah, but Inox I think still was. But anyways, I made a whole video about all that. Let's leave that behind. But yeah, when you come out of the theater talking, thinking about Jailer, I think what Ronak said, right? All these things that you like that the film is pushing to form a good narrative and not just relying on the hero, And then when you think more about that, you feel like, but they still, do this that they're relying too much on the hero in certain portions. Like I am not clapping and whistling because an epic moment happened because the character did something. I'm doing that because the hero is there, at some points. And there are so many, like the time where Rajnikanth's character killed the 2 people, right? They were following him.
Yeah.
When you break down that scene, right, it makes no sense. It felt good. Oh my god, cheering! What a moment! But when you break down that sequence, you already established he can kill people. You already established his power. We already know he's like, you understand that he's not there because he's depressed or something. It's not finally that the film has repressed this character and finally he's outbursting. It's nothing like that. It's just a cool moment. So when you do this analysis throughout, that's what it just falls apart. Things falls apart.
yeah, but I think that's part of the fun. That's part of this special genre where it's all about the hero, because you just want to see that these 2 guys are getting totally wrecked by him. And of course, you in the audience, yeah, these 2 guys, they have no shot at all against him. And I mean, it's taking place in this movie logic world. And I really don't bring everyday logic to this movie. I mean, with a movie like this, it's part of the fun, part of the genre you are watching. Even in a horror movie, when people are doing stupid stuff in a horror movie, there's of course a limit to that. But a little bit of stupidity is allowed because that's what you are there for, I guess.
Oh, but there's a little additional context in that same scene. In the sense, why it's interesting, at least for me, is that, see, I know what you're saying. They've established that, if it's a Rajni movie, he has that typical Basha narrative that for a long time he'll be like some calm, meek guy, but he's going to fuck people up at some point, so it's coming, and he can hit people and all that. But the thing is, I think the way that scene started, and then considering Nelson's world also, how he builds it, and then there's like a car waiting. So I was expecting that, like Doctor, if you watch Doctor, there's a scene in which they put this thing like injection or something and put that person inside the van and then take him, right? I thought it'd be something like that, or it could go in another direction, like typical Rajnikanth style slow motion fight and everything. I didn't expect that the first strike would be cutting off the head bare like that, right?
Yeah.
So in Rajnikanth films, you don't really see that.
So the shock, that's the shock value basically, I guess.
The shock value, right? Because it's mostly a little more a watered down, family centric, and all of that. So that is the bit of the fun for me. Like little things. They kept Rajnikanth's image. They used the template that Rajni is going to strike at some point, but here and there, how he plays it, right? Whether it's chopping that person off or that dining table sniper thing, all of that kind of stuff, right? It is the same thing, but it's just treated a little bit with this Nelson's flavor. In any other movie before this, you would have like a unnecessary 10 minutes fight scene with the same old stunts and people flying and everything. And you'll have 20 people, 100 people in that, like following him or surrounding him and all of that. In this, it's just two guys. So it's not perfect, but it is interesting.
Yeah.
Also,
It's fun.
also, it's the first time you actually see him kill someone or hit
Yeah.
someone.
Yeah.
The first two times it's just established that he can hold his own, but you don't see. And I mean, like you said, we shouldn't be analyzing this with logic, but with the movie logic in mind, it's also the brutality of it, like Ranak said. So it shows how much anger he's like bottling inside him, and when he just lets it out. So there was the first scene where we just see the post effect of him beating up all these guys in the car that tries to kidnap him, and then you see the other guy. He just meets him, and then cut to next scene. He's just inside this sack. So I think narrative-wise, they wanted to show how brutal he can get, and this is like the first time you are seeing him in action. So, and I think that kind of a scene demanded that kind of a shock experience, like a shock factor. I didn't mind it that much. And you don't see him, like Ranak said, you don't see him flying and kicking people around for the rest of the movie as well.
Yeah.
So you needed at least this. Yeah.
And there's not much punch dialogue also. There's not much speaking also.
Yeah.
There's very less
Yeah.
compared to his other movies, which is like lot of punch and then lot of punches, kicks and flying and all of that stuff. And then it's a little tiring, right? It worked very well. The last time that worked like really well was in Shivaji, which was 16 years ago.
And even in Shivaji, they were like kind of self-aware about those punch dialogues. That's why Vivek butts in and he says all the punch dialogues. So even back then, it was kind of a tired trope.
Yeah.
We have one more person joining us. Welcome, Kishor, who's a musician and a singer. So I think talk about Anirudh. We have a great person. Welcome, Kishor.
Hi.
Welcome.
Hi, Kishor.
Thank you so much. I'm sorry for being a little late, but I was actually watching your stream anyway, just to catch up with you guys.
You can always blame Nona
by
for
mistake late, or did Nona just send you the meeting link now? Like
No. He sent it to me like at 7:58 or something. But
Probably the wrong link.
See, that's one of the drawbacks of not having vitamin D. Okay.
Nonsense. Jayla has more logic than what you said.
Okay, the chat says, Good Soul says, Peta is much better than Jailer. Kill says, was Vinayakan a good pick? Question mark. What's your thoughts about flashback Jailer scene de-aging? So we'll take that one by one, but first, Keshav, your quick thoughts on the film?
Yeah, so I watched on Friday Packed House in Mumbai in a Tamil show. That too, like
With subtitles.
And a day show, which was I was not expecting a packed house. So that was something, because I anyway went for that show instead of Hindi to not just for the movie but also for the experience that you get, because I've spent 6 years in Chennai before this, so I know the atmosphere that gets created. So just to have that the big hoots when superstar Rajnikanth comes on, that not the person but the caption when it
Title card.
Yeah. So right from there, that there was this very interesting and positive vibe in the air in the theater. But it wasn't just me. Like, even the ardent of Tamil viewers in the theater, I could feel that energy kind of getting down by second half. Like first half, people were still into it and expecting maybe a little more in the second half because of how they leave it in the interval block. But after that, even I kind of lost that sort of intrigue, so to say, because that whole I absolutely didn't like that whole the Tamanna and that love triangle that they've tried to show. So that was not at all subtle, and I just felt that 2 hour 50 minutes is a very, very long run time. Like they could have easily made it 2 hour 30-minute movie and could have been even more interesting with a crisper edit. But all in all, I was listening to your everybody's thoughts, and I agree that once you go out of theater, you just feel that it was just another Rajnikanth movie, which was not as over the top when it comes to his own super heroic stuff, where he's handling 100 people at the same time. He has accomplices to help him out. And yes, I musically, like, I really love the background score more than songs, because being a musician, I like one half of my mind is always watching with the perspective of music, and very interesting and captivating background score. But songs, like, I was kind of disappointed. Something, again, I would say, even the first song in Jawan, Anirudh disappointed me there as well. So he's getting a little saturated as well, is what I feel like. He's overdoing it. Maybe needs a break or something.
Okay, controversial.
I'm not sure if it's that controversial. I mean, the first song wasn't really for me with this movie. It was the song about father and son, and it was so schmaltzy, and I thought it didn't really fit this vibe of the rest of the movie. It was so sentimental, and of course that's something that's often happening in many commercial movies from India.
I think it was sung by Vishal Mishra, if I'm not wrong. He's not a native Tamilian speaker, so that also kind of had a disconnect. Just the same. Okay. Again, I don't know why I'm giving the Jawan song example, but the Hindi version is sung by Anirudh, so I couldn't connect with it at all. His Tamil version sounds way more better. So same way, I think Vishal Mishra singing that Tamil song just didn't sit well with me as well.
Yeah. I mean, we can maybe talk about it later, but that whole father-son relationship wasn't really a strong point for me in the movie, especially the very end, if we want to go that place. But yeah, I agree that the background music was far more powerful, especially the theme that plays every time Rajnikanth is doing something cool.
And was it just me, or it felt very abrupt that the son is kidnapped or gone? Like, the song ends and suddenly, like, oh, he's missing for 2 days. Oh, it's 6 days. It's been 7. Oh,
I felt so
okay,
too.
This came out of nowhere. Like, it's like no build up, or he was going somewhere and then he never came back. Like,
it was like
it felt okay. Thank you, Shelly. She gifted 20 memberships. So everyone can thank her for giving memberships.
Can you share?
I'll send her to your channel. You can check all of their channels in the description. I have put it there. Okay. So they were about questions. Vinayakan, what do you guys think of the villain?
Yeah, great pick, but I think I couldn't take him seriously after a point. The performance and all was great. Like he looked great, he performed and all well, but I think they were trying to go with the comedic route again. But then that made me take the character a little less seriously, right? And after a point, okay, you're merciless and all of that, you've established that, but then after, I don't care, whatever you do, it's your end of the day, you're going to be the joke only. Right? So because of that, I didn't completely bite. But he is good. He did what he could. The character could have been better.
I mean, with a movie like this, it's not that I'm expecting some kind of tense movie where I'm on the edge of my seat and not knowing what's going to happen. So I was fine with that. But I was also a little bit surprised because he's established as this ruthless villain, and then we get the scene where he has to beg at the psychiatrist, and I was like, oh, this was quick, and now he's the butt of the joke. But yeah, I thought his presence alone was pretty epic, also with all the close-ups of his eyes and the face and stuff like that.
I think, Kishor.
Yeah, the only thing I was glad about, apart from his good performance, but for him it was a cakewalk. But the good thing was they didn't sideline him after the first half and bring in a new villain like they did in Anna.
Yeah.
So, like looking at the trailer, I was somewhat expecting Jackie Shroff to be like the main villain, and I'm glad that they kind of teased that and then went a whole different route.
Yeah.
So at least he was the villain throughout the film. So that's the one good takeaway.
I think
performance-wise, I think it was pretty good. But built-wise or physique-wise, it didn't really have that menace which you need, like a strong-looking antagonist against Rajnikanth, right? So that kind of intimidation factor was not really there.
I think after that begging scene, like it's over for him. Like he can never even. He's not even like क्या कहते हैं जूती की धूल भी नहीं है रजनीकांत के सामने. That kind of feeling that nothing he does will ever matter. So it's like the plot is stretching the narrative. Oh, now I have to get that crown and all that shenanigans.
Even the dance, like the dance moves on Tal Se Tal Milan, all that, it's just abrupt.
I think that is typical Nelson only, that he'll make those people do. But sorry, go ahead.
No, continue.
No, I was just going to say, like a good example of a good Rajnikanth villain, like at least according to me, this film might not have worked for everyone. It's Kala,
yes.
Which came out.
Oh my God, one of my favorites.
Yeah. But there's it's a polarizing movie, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people don't like it also. But in that, Nana Patekar is a villain, right? And I don't think he ever raises his hand or does anything, right? The way the character is written as this guy who, this pure upper caste guy who has absolute distaste for, anything lower than him, right? The way he treats him when Rajni comes to his house and makes him sit and how he offers water or not, and then what he tells to his daughter and everything. Throughout the film, you can feel this guy's, his presence looming, right? That it's very difficult in like a Rajni film to pull off. And like I've not seen such a strong, like even in Darbar, I think it was Sunil Shetty, but joke again. Anatha, I didn't even get to the point of the second villain or whatever. I couldn't watch it after the point. Before that, Peter, who was the villain? Peter. I think there were multiple villains. Nawaz was there, Vijay Sethupathi was there, and then first after Bobby Suma. That was a little all over the place.
Peter is the one with Karthik Subbaraj, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I had one more question regarding that, but before that, I want to take this something what BR said in his review, that you can be a fan and just enjoy that you got a good Rajni film and be satisfied. And if you're someone who wanted more, it being a Nelson movie and what he can really achieve, you will be dissatisfied. So do you guys agree with that assessment?
I mean, Nelson, how many films did he make? 4?
Yeah.
So I've seen only Doctor.
Same.
And I liked Jailer much more, I have to say. Doctor was fine, but a lot of the comedy was, I think, lost in translation for me. But I have a problem if a director is so fresh, only 4 movies, one of which is Beast, which is this big Dalabati Vijay movie. One is Doctor, which I liked fine. Then we have Jailer, and I haven't seen his first film. It's his first film where we have all this Nelson style, because I think in all his movies, it's always kind of a balance, I guess. So I'm not sure. For me, I felt the style of Nelson, I guess, through this dark comedy and the decapitation and stuff like that. But I think it's a little bit exaggerated to say they wanted more of that Nelson. I mean, he's such a fresh voice in cinema. I'm not sure, but I haven't seen his first film.
Yeah, like Jimmy said, I think we need more at least I need more movies from him. I need to watch more movies from him before I can even call myself a fan, and then have that kind of an opinion.
Okay.
Yeah. I disagree with what BR said, but it could have been a little more Nelsonish, even though he's made just 4 films and all. He's someone with that there are certain frames which are straight out of a Nelson movie, even if he's made just 3 or 4 films, right? As in, the inspirations where they come from, and you know that if it's framed like this, or there is this kind of a joke or something, it's like a Nelson joke, right? So just to make sure, I didn't find Jailer as funny as I disagree with Jimmy. I think what you said, that the jokes got lost in translation for you in Doctor, because when I watched Doctor for the first time, like in the theater, everyone was howling every single minute, right? Everyone was rolling on the floor laughing. And then I tried watching it on Netflix again when it released. It didn't work as well. But after Jailer, I went back and watched Doctor now again, like two days back, right? And it was as funny. Of course, not as funny as the theater version. And the thing is, the jokes are there throughout. A lot of people might not relate to the jokes. There is some kind of, people would say there's a little bit of transphobia and all of that kind of stuff that's there. But when it works, for me at least, it really works. And I guess comedy is also a very subjective thing. Right?
Yeah, very subjective. I think that the jokes that worked for me in Doctor were funnier than the jokes in Jailer.
Yeah.
So, but for me, the movie as a whole probably didn't work as well. With the whole second half of Doctor was kind of bizarre to me, to be honest. But the stuff in the first half, I laughed a lot. Yeah.
I think, but
Even with sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, even with Beast, like if you take a look at all his 4 films, so the common factor with the comedy is that the actors that he picked for the comedy are also same. So it kind of becomes monotonous in a way that what kind of punchline or what sort of a landing a joke will have with those actors. So maybe I think now we all know there is a trademark Nelson humor, dark humor in all his films. So just to maybe be a little more peculiar in the next film, maybe if he tries casting somebody else in those comic roles, it might just have a little more flavor, because Beast just didn't work for me at all. Like I think it didn't work for anybody.
Yeah.
So and in that film, because the main plotline was anyway so weak, they sort of tried to cover those loopholes with those comedy actors, but it fell flat. So here, I think it still kind of worked because the plotline was stronger than what they were trying to achieve with the comic angle. But I just feel they have to go to a different set of actors for those sorts of things.
I feel that in Doctor, right, like the comedy was coming out of the kind of character Shiva Karthikeyan was playing and the situations that were arising. It was like funny. Whereas I felt both in Beast and Jailer, the comedy is very reliant on the image of the star, and it has to serve, the jokes has to service him. Like here also in Yogi Babu talking to Rajnikanth as he's nothing, but we know he's something big, irrespective of what's his past in the film. We know that he doesn't know that he's such a big guy. So that's what most of it is. That's what making us laugh. Beast also, I think Beast, it doesn't work because the genre you're going for, you need to be tight and be focused, and in that you're breaking the tension with these jokes and just breaks away the narrative. But yeah, I think for me, I think Doctor is much better film. The ending climax kind of but totally wholly I really enjoyed it, because I think Nelson stick to what he was trying to do instead of not doing I'm not against fan service, but I like then when it's done well. I think Lukesh does a great job at it. Rajamouli does a great job at it. No, I don't think Rajamouli does fan service. I think he just brings characters into his narrative. He doesn't care about the actor.
His own fan service. People expect his brand,
they want Rajamouli style, not the actor. There was one question about the de-aging jailer scene, like in the jail and all.
It worked fine until till that
Okay.
one little scene where he removed his sunglasses.
Glasses.
Yeah, until then it was fine. He pretty much looked how he looked in Shivaji, which kind of matches with the timeline 2007.
Okay.
So yeah, and it was very brief. So yeah.
It was the right amount.
Yeah.
Like they didn't go overboard with it. It was just right enough to fan service. Okay, let's continue. Right. Otherwise, they go in Peter. That flashback went on for like so. Even though there was like a good scene in that, but other than that, it just went on for a very long time. I think at least 20,
I don't
30 minutes or
remember at
something.
all.
We'll come to game news, guys. Yeah, but yeah,
Yeah.
Kishore.
Sorry. Going back to that other point we were discussing, thinking back on all the 4 movies from Nelson, I guess the trademark that we talk about is how stoic the main lead is and how they are capable of extreme violence without any, without flinching an eye, without any remorse. But other than that, the one that actually worked in the 2 good movies, good according to me at least, Coco and Doctor, is the constant sense of dread. Like these characters are in total control, but also the situation was also overwhelming and you don't know what's going to happen to them. Like Coco, of course, you have a female protagonist, so you cannot show her.
Stakes are higher.
Yeah, you cannot show her as being able to beat up 20 people, but still, she was. This character is in control throughout the movie. She manipulates people into doing what she wants, and and of course, Doctor, the same thing. There's this constant sense of dread, but this time it's about the child that gets kidnapped.
Yeah.
I think Jailer, the first half worked because of that sense of dread. I mean, the sense of dread being that, yeah, you are showing the protagonist at his lowest, and now what's he gonna do after this? How is he even gonna, like, he can kill all the henchmen that he wants, but he's never gonna be able to even. There's this whole mystique about this whole network. There are people much powerful behind this, and like I thought it was gonna go in that route. Like, how is he gonna even find out who these people are?
Yeah.
And you see this other police, talk about the kidnapping of this
Inspector,
Rajnikanth's son. Like, there's this whole conspiracy going, and then they never come back to it.
Yeah.
At all. And I think in the second half, after that twist, it just goes into, and even Rajini's persona, if you look at it from first half to the second half, it goes in a whole different direction. The moment he reveals himself kind of to his wife and his daughter-in-law, you see a whole different character there. I mean, I get what they were trying to do. They were trying to show this hidden beast
coming out of the closet, kind of.
Yeah, but it's just typical Rajnikanth coming out, and I mean, after that point, he's not staying too true to his character, and that flashback does nothing because his present and past are pretty much the same at that point. So I think a lot of people felt that the first half was really good, and I feel that this was the reason that there should have been a sense of dread. Like, a heist isn't a dread. It's out of place. It's wacky, I know, for Nelson, but it also takes you out. And I don't know what his fascination is about. Nelson's films, they work because they are small. They are self-contained. They live in their own little world, and they are small. And I think he made a mistake in Beast with that whole climax where it goes Top Gun for no reason. And then here again, you have this, I don't know, Iron Man 1 kind of situation where this crown is going inside, this crown is being taken in a convoy, and you bring missiles and all that. It just blew out of proportion. And I feel, I think he wants to do it, but I don't think he's the right person to do it, at least in the stories that he's trying to tell us.
Yeah.
It should have been.
That holds. that whole sequence where they are stealing the crown, that was the scene where I thought this is a completely different movie. I mean, the wacky comedy, I could take all of that, but this big action set piece was so bizarre for me. But then, because there's a twist at the very end, it kind of worked in hindsight for me, because then they reveal, oh, it was all a play. And that's where I thought, okay, so it's still fun and there's still, I don't know, it's kind of witty. And then it worked. But before that, I thought, what are we doing now? Why are they shooting with rifles, snipers?
Exactly.
I had no context what's happening because I didn't know what they discussed before. So I was like, they are killing these like officers. Like they are not evil people. Like, is it okay? Like, they're killing
2 seconds
them?
in, I knew that this was
And then Kishor showed up. Like not this Kishor. The actor Kishor showed up. I'm like, nah, no, this is not real. Something is off.
And speaking of the wife and daughter-in-law, I mean, how unaware and naive one has to be to buy into the story that he just walked to Bangalore.
I think their characters are wasted. And I think what Kishor said, right? Like, similar thing. I think they just removed the challenge. I think what I would have liked to see is that he's unwilling to go that OG Rajnikanth because he wants to save his family. He doesn't want to contact all these people he knew because he wants to save his family. And then that breaking point comes, and then he has to, because in this what we saw, by the end I feel like he should have just called 3 people. And everything is sorted. The villain is taken down. And someone mentioned that he needed 3 superstars on different industries to fight a comic villain character. Underwhelming. At the hindsight, you feel like like you need Lalitan and Shivakumar and all of them to come together to defeat this villain. Really?
And
so that's what you feel.
Don't forget the whole Punjabi army.
I would like Rajnikanth cut off his ear. She should be against him instead of being with him. So, anyways, there's rumors that Mammootty was like the choice for the villain, but is that true? I don't know.
For the villain?
Villain.
Like after reading the script, Rajnikanth wanted Mammootty, but I guess it didn't work out.
I think so.
So from Mammootty to this guy, that's quite a steep decline.
But I guess
not really. I mean, I don't know if you've seen his other movies.
No, not acting wise. Like I'm saying, like the physique and the.
No, he is quite menacing. He is quite menacing. What was that movie? The one with Dulquer Salman?
Kamati Padam.
Yeah. He was quite menacing in that.
Okay.
I think it was his film. It was not Dulquer's film.
Oh, it's simple. One more reference, right? Gangster Wasseypur to Nawaz's character, right? He's small, tiny, smokes weed all day, but you don't know what the fuck he's going to do at any point, right? He's like completely this thing, right? So I think size doesn't matter as long as you write it really well.
It's just that we all have that image of Mammootty, like he's a big superstar, and compared to that, when you're going, he's a good actor. I'm not contesting that, but it's just that the image that Mammootty would have had as a villain in a film.
I'm not able to see Mammootty in this. So.
Maybe it would be much safer then. Or if Mammootty agreed to do all this dancing and all, I don't know what.
So a lot of people talking about Nelson was under pressure and he just did what the fans wanted and all of that. See, I think still I want to credit him that even in a Beast, right, he gave a very different character to Thalapathy Vijay. That he has PTSD, he is.
Yeah,
so I like that he's challenging
the first half an hour.
And then he
has
forgets
this
about it.
Good potential, good setup, and then it just goes into the. It's like the packaging is really good, but once you remove the wrapper, it's just same old shit. Again, I'm going back to the first half in this jailer, but imagine this is this frail old man who's retired, who just lost his son, and he's just walking in the road. He doesn't even have a means to get to the villain. And then he just happens to come across this Yogi Babu character and gets in his car.
Yeah.
That whole sequence was like really good. Like he's figuring it out on the way. He doesn't have any means. He's just hyper focused on this one thing, and he's going to do that. And if that movie was like that throughout, I would even believe him walking from Chennai all the way to Bangalore just to kill this one guy. And if the
Yeah.
movie was just about that, I would watch it.
Yeah. Oh, that would have been nice.
But then you bring this whole persona of him and show that how resourceful he is. Like you said, he could have just called Mohanlal and a CCTV camera and would have found his son by that time. Like they didn't even find his body. Why not call Mohanlal and I don't know, drone technology? So yeah, it made no sense.
Gokul says, agree with Kishore. Maybe fan service that is required for Rajni Vijay films kind of never directors pull their punches. Pull their punches?
Huh?
I mean, this could be a good example going forward. Like the thing that worked was not the typical Rajini stuff.
Yeah.
So I hope they take the right message. I mean, I'm hearing that the film is doing really good finance wise, money wise. So I think if they can take the good stuff out of this, knowing that okay, experimentation is gonna work as long as you don't experiment too much like you did in Kala, where you could have replaced that character with anyone. No, it still has to be a Rajini film. You still have to show his age, but also do so in a way that he's not your normal 72-year-old. So I think this kind of Kala tried a whole different thing that didn't work for many, but this one tried to balance it out, but it just halfway through it just got scared and reverted back to this age-old formula.
Sachin says people are praising Peta like it was a masterpiece. My foot, and he used the emoji foot. The second half was terrible. The first half, Peta is where Rajni glimpses of old persona was visible. Redin Kingsley character was pure cringe. Thanks to Nelson, at least he didn't do that usual weird jaw talking in Jailer. Okay.
I think he had a replacement for Redin's character. That guy who I thought Redin was dubbing for this guy, the Vinayakan's friend, whatever.
The right hand man, right?
Yeah. I thought Redin was just dubbing for this guy. Maybe he was busy making other movies. He couldn't make time for this, so it's just their voices sounded so similar.
I think most characters' voices sound similar in Nelson's movies. No, everyone.
No,
talks fast,
the way they speak is similar, but this one, like even the voice was very similar. So, I don't know.
Do you guys think? I was saying like because Nelson and Lokesh are, I think they are both 3-4 films old, right? And there is an inevitable comparison because they're both this new era directors. So do you think somewhere now, Lokesh has, leapfrogged him up quite a bit with what we saw in Vikram and now, with Beast and this one, not as effective. So somewhere, Nelson is the promises that he made with Doctor and so has it got lost somewhere?
I don't know. I feel, I mean, it's very unfair to say this, but I feel Lokesh had a bit more luck than Nelson. Like he stuck to his convictions when he made a movie with Vijay in Master, but you could see that uncertainty. Like he wasn't certain about his own convictions, and he was trying to please the fans as well. And it's just that movie worked.
The word master?
Yeah, Master.
Okay.
So and then that kind of he took the right lessons out of that, and he made Vikram, where he totally sidelined the whole star image until it was necessary. And I feel, and I think BR was also saying the same thing about Lokesh, like how he has set like unfair standards for aspiring directors. Like you can just come in, make like 2 good movies, and then you're set. I think there's a lot of talent, there's a lot of hard work, but that's the same for everyone. And I think Lokesh just had a little bit more luck, and he was able to score really well by sticking to his convictions, and it's working for him. Whereas
so if we don't compare with Lokesh, so you feel Nelson in isolation has done well so far?
Well, I mean, define well.
Yeah.
But in isolation, how can you compare, right?
No. In
No, is he a
isolation,
good
not compared.
director by himself? He's asking.
No,
I think.
yeah. So like
I mean, two good movies, two really good movies out of four, and only one huge disaster. I mean, it's still a good scorecard.
Like for me, I think it's just I want to see what the director is trying and how he could try. Like I love what he's trying. I love he wants to be different and he's making his own space. And I want to watch what he's coming up with next. You know, there are directors who are just trying to make the same thing, and I'm like, I'm not interested. If you're doing the same, at least you're doing something different. It doesn't work out, it's fine. I have no problem. But it's it's working for me. It's not perfect, but I still want to continue watching, irrespective of the box office or whatever. But even Beast, I was upset for him, not on him. That how can you make? I'm like, oh shit, it didn't just land for you, this film. And I hope future films do that for him.
I think the one comparable, like the one thing in common between Lokesh and Nelson is that stars should, they have their own little wacky world, and it's true for Mishkin as well. And you have to leave your star image behind in order to, be organic in that little world. And for directors like these guys, making huge star banner films is really hard. It's a challenge.
Yeah, and that we saw something similar like here in Bollywood with Anurag Kashyap when he got the big budget and the big star. After Wasipur, all the promise and everything just went for a toss.
Yeah. So bottom line is they are really bad at fan service.
Yeah.
Typical fan service. I mean, they're good at their own stuff, but they have their own little quirky world, and these actors, they have to be actors. These stars have to be actors in order to feel organic within that world, and that means leaving all that image behind. But then when you try to satisfy it, it kind of takes you out of that world. And that's the reason Mishkin doesn't work with huge stars. I think the biggest star he worked with.
They also should want to work with him.
That's a whole. I'm talking about when Mishkin was good.
No, he's good. No one's saying he's bad or something, but his style is very, very defined.
Yeah.
I don't know if there is a room for a big star to enter, and then I can't even imagine what that is going to be like.
Exactly, and I
Kamal
feel
Hassan I can imagine. Like a Kamal Hassan in a Miskin film is still imaginable because he will somehow mold himself.
That's because Kamal doesn't have a limit. He doesn't have a boundary. He can just morph into any character. The biggest star Mishkin ever worked with was Vishal, and in his filmography, I mean. So, and you can see how out of place he was in that movie. For Nelson to make a movie with Rajni or Vijay, it is a hard task by itself. There's a lot of baggage that comes with it. And for them to make it feel like they belong in his world, that's another challenge.
But just one more point on this. Like you said that Lokesh was also lucky in a way. So same way, Lokesh also had Talapati Vijay and VJS both in one film, and then Kamal Hassan and Fahad Fasil and everybody. Mm-hmm. So is he better at fan servicing, or is he better at saying his own things and balancing both?
I think Lokesh just spends a lot more time on the script. Like we can debate whether the writing is good, not good, or whatever. He adds a lot of layers, like how to make a good action thriller, right? Whereas Nelson, on the other hand, he himself has said that he doesn't spend too much time on the script. Maybe that's his strength, maybe that's his style of working, but he chooses to spend a lot more time on the comedy, right? The comedy aspect in it, which can fall flat in any direction. If you put your full reliance on comedy, it can go in any way, right? Because it's so subjective. But when it comes to action, if you watch Kaidi also, the way the movie starts, Karthi and all comes very much late, and his entire intro scene is so different, right? Though he doesn't have that much of a star image as compared to Rajni or Vijay and all of that, he still has like a star image. But it's the way he comes and sits and eats biryani on the plate, right? But even before that, the way it starts with a bigger story in mind. and then the actor, the star, or whoever comes into that story, and what he does with that is the rest, right? Same thing with Master also. The movie starts with Vijay Sethupathiy's character. The villain's character establishes so strong, like for the first
15
10,
minutes,
15
yeah.
minutes or something, like from his childhood, right? And it doesn't seem like an excuse. It's not like he's not saying that, oh, the stronger the villain, the better the film is going to be. He's not using that as a template and saying, let me do it for that. It really makes sense as to why this guy is so strong, and how the one punch can do so much and all that. And that character also is so good. So like Kishor said, Master for me really worked. For a lot of Vijay fans itself, it didn't work because I guess here and there balance got a little bit.
It worked for me as well, big time.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this, Ranak. Imagine, what if Beast came before Master? Like you have Vijay coming out of Bhairava and Bigil,
Yeah.
and then you see him do a film like this instead of Master.
Still same reaction.
No, I think it would have worked much better than it did, because Master set this again an unfair standard of what a good Vijay film. Could
Like
be.
that.
Yeah.
Okay. But if you want to compare to Nelson's own work, let's not compare to Master.
Yeah.
Let's imagine Master doesn't exist, but Nelson's own work, Doctor comes right before, right?
I mean, but think about Lokesh as well. Kaidi came before Master, and Kaidi is a far superior movie than Master. So Doctor is a far superior movie than Beast. So imagine Vijay coming out of Bhairava, which was horrible, and then Diggle, which was okay-ish, but it did elevate his star value. But then you see him do a completely different role.
So are you asking if the reaction would be as bad as it was like
Exactly.
right?
And,
Yeah,
like,
it might be definitely lesser,
Yeah.
but it does not change the fact that that film was like it
film
had a lot of promise.
Yeah,
But like
absolutely.
you said, there was nothing inside the wrapper. Right? Inside the
Yeah,
I think it is in
film
the
had-
context of the fans and the people who have expectations after Master. I think that's what he's trying to say.
Exactly. So that's where I feel like right people, right time kind of thing worked out for Lokesh. He was lucky in that aspect. Of course, Master, even if Master came after Beast, it still would have worked. But what I'm saying is, Beast after Master, there was a whole other standard. In spite of whatever films Vijay did after Master. There was this, okay, if it's going to be good Vijay film, this is how it should be. And I feel Beast fell short on that, and that's the reason it's being trashed so much. But if it followed his films pre-Master, I think Beast would have been, looked at a little bit more favorably, right? In a good light, slightly.
So we are just at the end of this session, guys. Last two quick things. I didn't want to bring this up, but I just hit 50K on the channel. And thank you everyone in the chat for the what do you call it? Support and like congratulating me. Thank you Shelly, for the super chat. But coming to the cameos, everyone is talking about the cameos. What are your thoughts? What was your favorite? What didn't work? Like it's Shivaji Kumar, right? If I'm not wrong.
Shivaraj Kumar.
Yeah.
Shivaraj Kumar. I had no idea who he is.
Shivaraj Kumar.
But just because of Anirudh's background music, you feel this is some important badass guy.
Even I've not seen his earlier movies because he's a Kannada star, right? He's Puneet Rajkumar's brother.
Rajkumar's son.
And Rajkumar's son and Puneet Rajkumar's brother. And even I had no context of his movies and all, but there's a certain aura when that look on his face. Okay, maybe, and also I watched it in Bangalore. I was supposed to watch it in Chennai, so the reception over here was like something else when he came. Mohanlal, the reception was not so much, but he was my favorite cameo because
It was not revealed in the trailers and all, right? The cameos, if I'm not wrong.
They were.
Oh, they were okay.
In the
But not
teaser.
all of them, I
The
think.
cameos were shown in the trailers. Okay.
Yeah.
it was shown. And they were, every time some new cast member was added, they released one poster for them.
Yeah. Like I knew Mohanlal is in the film, but I think they didn't show him in the trailer. So if I remember, I don't
There
know.
was a teaser before, and
Oh, okay.
where they showed all the cameos.
Okay.
Yeah, there's people
I want-
walking out like that.
Yeah. Kishor, how was the response for Tiger Shroff's daddy? Like no one was clapping here or anywhere else in your screening. So yeah,
My screening was dead silent when he showed up.
Yeah.
No, because I saw Tamil version in Mumbai, so any which way, people who know him better are Hindi speakers, right? So they might have been in the Hindi show, and here the biggest cheers came for Mohanlal actually.
Hmm. I was a little bit disappointed that Jackie Shroff didn't get that whole cigar smoking scene. Like it was like you're not at that level. Only these three get to do that. Yeah. It's like he's a star on his own.
Did you feel odd that even Jackie Shroff's character was speaking in Tamil? I thought just like Makarand Deshpande, he would also stick to Hindi only. So
I think
was
he
a
had
bit
few
odd.
Hindi dialogues. But
They were Hindi, but how did he?
I mean, at this point, Jackie Shroff is a
He was in the
honorary,
jail, right?
Yeah.
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 The Tihar jail is apparently a melting point of culture where people speak all regional languages. And at this point, Jackie Shroff is also, he's been in so many Tamil movies that he's a honorary Tamilan.
Honestly, nowadays he's doing more films in the South than in Hindi. And I don't know what's up with people. Everyone is using him in the films and showing him bare chested. I don't know what's this new fetish everyone is carrying.
I think it's in his contract. Like, have you seen his old paper ads?
No.
Yeah, he's not.
Okay, have you seen his son?
Yeah.
Where do you think he gets it from?
He's a great actor, but I think they didn't treat him as big as they treated everyone else. And I don't think they are on the same same
not
level.
much space with all these other.
Even Makarand Deshpande was wasted. Like literally, he had two scenes, one in the present and then one in the flashback. And such a good actor, but
the one he cuts his ears off.
In a Tamil film, what can you expect from Makarand Deshpande? Even Bollywood doesn't care about him.
Yeah, that's what. Like
His role in Bhola was so horrendous.
I didn't even know that he was like an important actor. I just thought it was some extra.
He was in the big song in
he's a very good
Swadesh.
actor.